the time that Taye lived in the orphanage, she had 12 roommates. Out of those 12, 2 had remained to this day, providing their service to Lucky to help maintain the orphanage. One was her dear sweet friend Bear, who cooked, cleaned, and chopped wood. And then there was Yoshyro. She still didn't know what Yoshyro did, though she was always curious. While she lived in the orphanage, she never spoke to him, because he was never around long enough for her to speak. And even if he was, she was hardly brave enough, as he gave her the heebie-jeebies. The first time she laid eyes on him, she hurried back to the safety of her room and shut the door. When she peered out her door and down the hall not a second after, he was gone. A few weeks followed, and she watched him appear into the dining room right in front of her, grab a dinner roll from the table, and just disappear. She was sure he was a ghost, or at least a figment of her imagination, so she never mentioned him to Bear or anyone else. He was always standing in some corner of the room, or at the end of the hall, silent and still. And then all of a sudden, he'd be gone, just like that. His eyes always staring, but never really looking right at her. It sent a shiver up her spine. When it became clear to Bear that Taye was too afraid to go down the hallway by herself, he knew exactly what was going on. He informed her that Yoshyro was not a haunting, and was unfortunately a real boy. He also told her that he had a sun birthmark on his hand. Like her, he had a mark. That mark told him and the world that he could do something that no one else could, but unlike her, he knew what his ability was, and he knew how to use it. "I don't think I've ever seen him walk," Bear told her. She later learned that he was blind, and word around the house was that he escaped from his father's evil clutches and showed up one night standing outside the orphanage, alone and in the rain. Her curiosity about him grew, wanting to know answers, but she was too afraid to approach him. Plus, Bear was wary of him too. So for the entirety of her stay, she never spoke to him, not once. Even as the years went by, she couldn't bring herself to try, and he remained the creepy boy with the blank stare who appeared and disappeared as he pleased. After she was adopted, her curiosity dulled, and she rarely thought of him at all. Now, she couldn't stop thinking of him, the way he saved her life. Yet again, she was stuck with the feeling of never knowing why she couldn't just die. But his words echoed in her head. All we can do is live meaningfully as best we can. If you don't know how, ask the people you love and trust for guidance. We all get a little lost sometimes. It was the most he had ever said to her, and she was so shocked she couldn't even respond. It was her darkest hour, and now, as she walked back to that orphanage, she knew she needed to speak to him, to find him and thank him. He changed her perspective on living and the life she was given.